Whenever you're ready.
All right.
Hold that thing to your face. There you go.
This is Walter Jones of the Seattle Seahawks, and you're watching Voice of the Box with Matt Crevin.
Get a little roll. Okay, thank you, and good afternoon. Welcome to Voice of the Box. I'm here with Pete Cooney. And Pete, instead of me explaining your role that you have with the NFL, would you mind explaining your role to me?
Not at all, Matt. I am the sideline coordinator, AKA the green hat. And basically my responsibility is to coordinate the timing of the football game between the officials on the field and the television network.
A rather unique role behind the curtain in the NFL. How did you get the start in such a unique role?
Well, the NFL put this position in 17 years ago, league-wide. Every home team has this position. And I was fortunate enough at that time to know Jerry Walker, the 49er public relations director. And Jerry called me up and said, hey, the league's putting in this new sideline position. I have no idea what it is, but would you be interested? And I said, sure. So I went to Los Angeles and sat in on a meeting, and it sounded pretty easy. It looked pretty easy, so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And here I am 17 years later.
Wow, 17 years you've been doing this. You've got, obviously, probably one of the more amazing vantage points in terms of a football fan. Maybe there's only you and the official at times between you and the game. What are some of the benefits of that? And maybe on the other side, what are some of the challenges of being so close to the game?
Well, the benefit is obviously the opportunity to see some of the world's best athletes compete against one another. Right. It's just amazing. I tell people all the time that television sanitizes this game. You can't believe how hard these guys hit each other, how fast they are, how strong they are, and how incredibly talented they are. The other side of that is you have to be careful, because that speed can get on top of you so fast that if you're not completely aware of when it's coming towards you and backing up, I've learned over the years to back way up. I've seen some interesting sideline collisions for sure.
I'm hoping that you haven't been part of a collision.
I never have been. I've been close, but I've never actually gone down onto the ground. So I hope to maintain that through the rest of my career, however long that may be.
Let me change gears on you just for a minute. Working with the, I'm sorry, you said the umpire or the linesman?
I work with the back judge.
Back judge. Tell me, what's it like for people that know referees, probably just from watching football on TV? What's it like working and collaborating with an NFL referee during a game? What are they like?
Well, first of all, you have to remember that these guys are the best at what they do. These guys are top-line officials. And as a result of that, they are in control, completely in control. I've never had a situation where an official's been flustered, frenzied part of a game, all kinds of tension, all kinds of activity. No problem. These guys, they're trained to be in control, and they are. And even to the point where at times there's some humor involved. There's some realism that look at this situation we're in. They're really great to work with.
Tell me about the humor part. We at Voice of the Box, we like humor. Tell me about maybe there's an instance or two that you're willing to share that you've thought, hey, that's a pretty funny moment. Could have been in the heat of a playoff game. Someone's cracking a joke. Anything along the abnormal, the quirky?
Well, I've had some interesting conversations with the officials over the years. I had a real fun one last year with a gentleman by the name of Tony Steratore, who's a back judge. And Tony's a really funny guy. And Tony was, frankly, looking at the cheerleaders behind us one time while we were in a timeout. And he told me earlier in the game that his wife was here because they were going to be going up to the wine country after the game for a few days. So Tony was obviously looking at the cheerleaders, and I said, geez, Tony, you better watch yourself. Your wife's up in the stands. And he said, Pete, that's not a problem. We've got that all worked out. So I said, okay, good for you. So
referees are human too, right?
That's right, yes.
Tell me, after 17 years in this fascinating role, how have you seen, or maybe how have you seen your role change in what you're doing? Obviously, TV is dominating the sport. But is there anything that you can markedly say, boy, this has really changed over the past 17 years?
Well, interestingly enough, this year, it's really changed. I mean, I shouldn't say really changed, but there have been some changes this year because the league, once again, is looking to the green hat to be more involved with the game and certain facets of the game. Some instant replay stuff, some on-field communication with the referee. So I think the league sees us as their representative on the sideline, which they don't have in any other capacity. So they've expanded our role a little bit. Nothing, extraordinarily difficult or anything that would cause people to say, "Wow, you have responsibility for that." But I think as the years have gone on, they see the green hat as more of an asset, and so they're utilizing us more to communicate with them. I have to now fill out a weekly report, as an example, that's rather lengthy. And being on the West Coast, it has to be into the East Coast by 1 o'clock on Monday afternoon, and that's always a challenge for me to make sure I get that in, because I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's someone like you, green hat and your peer, orange glove, that are essentially running the game every Sunday across the NFL. Is there a chance that you get? How does it work in terms of you getting the opportunity to work a playoff game, a Super Bowl? How does that work?
Well, if a playoff game's here, I've worked playoff games here, and those obviously were incredibly exciting. I believe the way it works is that wherever the Super Bowl is held, that team's green hat would be able to do the Super Bowl. The NFL may put in their own person, but I'm not sure about that. But I would imagine they'd use the green hat because he's been working it all year and maybe multiple years.
Pete Cooney, as we wrap up, is there, having worked for this franchise as a game day employee, you've seen some pretty fascinating moments in NFL history. Is there any one moment above others that you can share that you say, hey, this has been a defining moment in what you do?
Yes, absolutely. It was the year that the 49ers won the NFC Championship here and sent them to the Super Bowl. I believe that was in '95. And I'll never, ever forget watching Steve Young absolutely just lose control of his emotions and running around the sidelines. And I could hear what he was saying. And Steve, of course, would never utter a swear word. But it was just amazing to see that absolute joy of relief of finally getting to the game that he wanted to get to. And just the way he conducted himself just exhilarated the entire crowd and all the sidelines too. I'll never forget that, ever.
Excellent. Well, Pete Cooney, thank you for taking a few minutes on Voice of the Box, the man who wears the green hat, essentially running the NFL game on the sideline. Thank you once again.
Matt.